Did I forget anything? Hey guys, it's Phil from smilinggardener.com. If you haven't picked up my free online organic gardening course, you can do that right on the homepage of smilinggardener.com. Today I'm talking about forest gardening. When we combine these two ideas of a garden and a forest, we get kind of a forest-like ecosystem that really takes care of itself but can provide still many of the benefits that we would want from our regular gardens. One of the main concepts in forest gardening is the use of layers, the use of different sized plants to fill up all of the vertical space and to perform various ecological functions in the garden. What we often think about is about 6 basic layers. The first one is tall trees, what we call canopy trees. Then there's small trees, or what we might call understory trees. Then there's shrubs that go under that, which can be pretty tall. You know, they can be 10, 15 feet tall, or they can be a little bit smaller. Then there's herbaceous plants, which are, they don't really get woody, but they're kind of like the same size, shape as a shrub. Then there's ground covers that hug the ground and crawl around. And then there's root vegetables that go underground. When you're in a temperate climate like I am, you have to spread things out further. You're probably not going to be growing tomatoes up through your trees, but in the tropics you can plant things a lot more densely and get a lot more going on in there. As we zoom out here, you can start to see this is my forest garden here. It's just a little mini forest garden that I started to install last fall. I'm taking my time installing it. I really think of it as a teaching garden for you guys, and it's just very small. A couple thousand square feet, can easily fit on most urban properties. I'm having some fruit trees, having some shrubs and herbs and all kinds of things that are going in here. So let's get talking about some of these beneficial plants, and I'll start with the fruit trees because when you're designing your garden you want to start with your trees. This is really my canopy, is my fruit trees, and so you want to go with trees that make sense for your area. I have cherries, pears and apples. They're all really good in this area. This is a self-fruitful cherry that's already producing cherries in my first year here, so that's really nice. Once we have the fruit trees designed in, we can start to think about designing plants around those fruit trees to create a guild, which is a group of plants that are going to support that fruit tree and provide benefits for us. Nutrient accumulators, which are plants that send their roots deep into the soil and can bring up nutrients, and then when they die back, those nutrients are returned to the top of the soil where the rest of the plants can access them. So this borage here and its relative comfrey are both really nice nutrient accumulators. Yarrow is a really nice nutrient accumulator. So these are really beneficial plants. In a new forest garden, I'm going to plant as much as 25% of my plants will be nitrogen fixers. All I really have right now is this nice red bud right in the middle. Another tree that's very popular is a black locust, a really nice nitrogen fixer. But what I'm going to do in here, once the sheet mulch is broken down, is I'm going to have a cover crop of clover or vetch or maybe both. Really get some nitrogen going on in the soil. Then around the base of the tree, I have various things that are going to benefit me and the tree. I have garlic, which of course is really medicinal and good for me, but also really beneficial to have in the garden. I have daffodil bulbs, which are going to help keep the grass from growing into the fruit trees. I kind of have a wall of garlic and daffodils here. And then you can't really see them yet, but I'm starting to transplant from my vegetable garden herbs just all over the place. Herbs are so beneficial for many reasons. So I'm transplanting, you know, a dozen different kind of herbs. Many of them are very good at bringing in beneficial insects, such as what's in bloom right now, cilantro or coriander. Really has nice flowers. Sage has nice flowers right now. The yarrow, my bee balm should be flowering soon. And then all kinds of herbs that flower throughout the year. Eventually you can have hundreds of different species of plants in your forest garden. What you want to focus on is perennial plants. That means plants that you plant once and they just grow and they come back every year. So fruit trees, fruit shrubs, and all the other kinds of different layers, try to find perennial versions of these plants. Or you can also use self-seeding plants. So I really like to eat a lot of dill. I plant a lot of dill in the garden. It's a very beneficial thing to have for the ecosystem, but also it self-seeds so I don't have to go planting it every year. So a forest garden is a very dynamic, complex environment. There are many things we could talk about today. If you have any questions about any of this, just ask them down below and I will answer. If you haven't signed up for my free online organic gardening course, you can do that down below. You can also join me on Facebook at facebook.com/smilinggardener, on YouTube at youtube.com/gardenersmiling, and I'm on Pinterest now where I can share photos with you. I don't know what my domain name is there though.